Putting food on the table is one of the most basic things that any parent has to do, and with prices increasing across all aspects of living, ensuring that your family has enough to eat can be challenging. I fed my family for 365 days, and it all started with the smallest of things. That's seeds. Seeds are amazing, and this tiny little parcel can turn into the biggest of vegetables to help feed you and your family. They all require different treatments in order to grow at their best. So here's a few tips to ensure that you get your garden off to the best start. Timing is critical when sowing seeds. There is no point in a seed germinating if the conditions that it's born to are not favourable for it to grow well. As a general rule, sow your seeds about 6 weeks before you plant out. This will be different depending on where you're living, and some places in the same zones will have different microclimates. Each variety has its own set of characteristics, and this will determine when they should be sown, how long they take to germinate, the temperatures they require, and so on. It's up to you to work back from your last frost date and decide when to start sowing. If you can provide cover by sowing indoors, the sill of a window in your house, a polytunnel, a greenhouse, this will provide protection to allow you to sow earlier in harsh conditions like we're having at the moment. There are various ways in which to sow too. Cells, flats and pots, as well as direct sowing are all different methods. Like me, you may decide to use a combination of all four. There are lots of different mediums in which you can sow your seeds into. Compost, potting soils and seed starter mixes can all be purchased. Some varieties of seeds require more drainage than others, and although you can buy lots of different varieties at your local garden centre, well, I mix my own, and here's what I do. I sieve some all-purpose potting compost or homemade compost so that it's fine, and then I add some perlite to loosen the mixture, create air movement and drainage. Perlite is expanded volcanic rock. It's light, cheap and fantastic way to prevent emerging seedlings from damping off. When sowing your seed, fill your vessel of choice and firm it down. This removes pockets of air and increases the volume of compost in the tray. Water the tray and allow it to stand for a few minutes before sowing commences. Next, we need to create the holes or indents to sow the seeds into. How deep will depend on the seed being sown, but as a rule of thumb, use twice the depth of the seed. For real small seeds, surface sowing or fine sprinkling of compost might be required. Create your holes with a pen, dibber or even your fingers. You do not have to be precise with it. So many people stress over sowing the actual seeds, and there's no need for this. Some seeds like radish, leeks, onions, beetroots can all be multi-sown into cell trays. Simply place 3 to 7 seeds depending on what you want to sow into each indent. This will create groups of seedlings in small plugs that can be planted out later and will push apart as they grow. This is perfect for speed, space and resources, as it increases the number of plants you can grow quickly with less compost. Brassicas and flowers can be sown in seed flats and later pricked out once they are a certain size into their own individual pots or cells to grow on. Larger seeds like beans are better to be sown individually into root trainers. These are perfect because not only do the roots get a deeper cell, they're also air prone too. Once the seed is sown, simply cover over with a fine layer of compost or vermiculite and give another light watering. Label and place on a shelf or racking system where they can germinate. A tip here is also to place some cardboard over the top of a tray to help keep moisture in. It also allows you to stack trays if you're short on space. Check after a few days to see if germination has started and remove the cardboard if it has. Germination will vary depending on the seeds you're sowing. For instance, chili seeds may take 3 weeks to germinate, while most things like lettuce and other seeds may take between 5 and 7 days. Temperatures are important too, because some seeds, they prefer higher temperatures to germinate. Things like chilies and eggplants require around 24 to 27 degrees, whereas lettuce, they only require 13 to 15 degrees to germinate. So you should consider this when you're deciding where to place your trays. If you've ever watered your plants and you have found a green moss or algae grown across the surface of the compost, well, this is usually indicative of a too wet anaerobic condition and caused by overhead watering. Instead, consider putting your trays into a bowl of water and allowing them to absorb that water through, because this can reduce that algal growth. Or do what I'm doing here, and that is to have capillary matting in a steel table. You may not have to use a steel table, but the capillary matting will hold water and the plants can absorb that water through bottom watering. This will stop that algal growth. Giving your seeds the best start possible will ensure that you can feed your family over the coming year. Although this video has given you lots of tips, it works in conjunction with the huge amount of tips in this video. So secure your family's food for the next 365 days by going to view that next. I'm Tony O'Neill, this is Simplified Gardening. Remember, you reap what you sow, and I'll see you in the next one.